This is Tammy Armstrong. She developed feelings for the detective investigating her boyfriend's disappearance. However, this was not the only crazy thing about her. In 2002, in Medford, Wisconsin, Tammy Armstrong reported her boyfriend John Maier missing. Detective Larry Wobeking took charge of the case. John Maier and his brother Rob Maier were co-owners of a service shop where they worked side by side. John, known for his strong work ethic and kind demeanor, was a dedicated businessman who rarely took time off. He even extended his generosity to Tammy and her son Brandon when he took both of them in. Knowingly, Brandon was not his own son. The seriousness of John's disappearance was immediately apparent to the detectives, given his unwavering commitment to his work. When they arrived at Tammy's residence on that Monday, she recounted her last interaction with John. According to her, she had spent the weekend with her friend Amanda, who lived 2 hours away. This choice was made because of an incident where she had used some extra funds from John's business account to buy her son some goodies. This had upset John, prompting her to give him some space over the weekend. She remembered seeing John leaving in a white pickup truck on that Friday. However, upon her return, John was nowhere to be found, prompting her to call 911. The detective's keen eye caught a peculiar detail: a wall mount meant for a gun, but no firearm in sight. When questioned about it, Tammy appeared just as surprised, insisting that the gun should have been there, suggesting that John may have taken it with him. Another oddity that raised eyebrows was the presence of a rented carpet cleaner. The timing was certainly peculiar. Cleaning the carpets at a time when someone she cared about had gone missing was indeed an unusual choice. These unusual observations only deepened the mystery surrounding John's disappearance. Detectives advised Tammy to temporarily vacate the house, explaining that it needed to be thoroughly investigated. However, they also emphasized the importance of keeping her close by, not far from the city. Following their advice, Tammy reached out to her ex, who took their son under his care. She then relocated to a shelter, a place where law enforcement could easily monitor her activities. John's brother Rob disclosed that while John loved his shop, his love for Tammy and her son was undeniable. However, he also admitted that Tammy's actions were a source of frustration. Shockingly, Rob presented officers with forged checks that Tammy had taken from John's business account. This startled the detectives, as they thought that Tammy stole some for the sake of her son. But looking at the checks tells a different story. These forged checks had far-reaching consequences. They not only angered John, but also had a damaging impact on his business and reputation. They began bouncing, tarnishing the name he had worked so hard to establish. Outside John's residence, there stood a newly poured cement slab bearing the distinct handprints of Tammy and her son. The absence of John's handprints raised suspicions among the detectives. They couldn't help but wonder if this slab concealed something more sinister, perhaps even John's remains. To address these concerns, a search warrant was swiftly obtained, granting them access to the slab. With care, they carefully excavated the area beneath the slab. However, to their relief and puzzlement, no evidence of John's body or any incriminating items were discovered. Detective Larry Wobeking took the initiative to personally pick up Tammy for questioning, driving her to the police department before eventually driving her back. What struck him as unusual was Tammy's transformation during this time. She took care to dress up and present herself as if she were preparing for a date. Her gaze towards him shifted, and she even playfully bestowed him with the nickname Larry Bird. Detective Wobeking, sensing the need to establish a rapport and put Tammy at ease, decided to play along with her lighthearted banter. He hoped that by creating a comfortable atmosphere, Tammy might be more inclined to open up and share the truth about John Maier. As Tammy shared, she and John had a shared love for camping, particularly by the water. However, as the questioning delved deeper, Tammy's demeanor would shift, becoming somber and less forthcoming. Detective Wobeking recognized this change in her disposition and realized the importance of approaching the conversation with care and sensitivity in order to coax out more information. One night, a young man named Tyler Reese attempted to contact Tammy, but when he couldn't reach her, he eventually left. Detective Wobeking, keeping a close eye on the situation, followed Tyler and confirmed his identity. It was later discovered that Tyler was considerably younger than Tammy. Initially, authorities looked closely at Tyler as a potential suspect, given the nature of their relationship. However, after a thorough examination, they found no substantial evidence linking him to John's disappearance. As a result, Tyler was subsequently ruled out as a suspect. In a final, intense interrogation, Detective Webeking used the foundation of trust he had built with Tammy over the hours of questioning to coax the truth out of her regarding John's disappearance. Finally, she confessed to the horrifying events of that fateful night. According to Tammy's chilling account, John had returned home as he usually did. Discovering the forged checks and learning about her affair with Tyler had pushed him to a breaking point. He had made the agonizing decision to end their relationship and ask her to leave his house. As John sat in the lounge, unaware of the impending tragedy, Tammy approached him from behind and fired 2 shots from his .22 caliber rifle. Desperate to conceal the evidence, Tammy attempted to dispose of John's body by first trying to burn it in a barrel. When this proved unsuccessful, she resorted to a gruesome alternative, dismembering his body and scattering the pieces in the very place he cherished most, the camping spot they both held dear. The stark brutality of Tammy's actions sent shockwaves through the investigation, leaving detectives stunned by the depth of the darkness that had unfolded in this quiet town. Tammy Armstrong faced serious charges of second-degree murder and mutilation of a corpse for her heinous actions. The court, after careful deliberation, sentenced her to 30 years of imprisonment. This verdict marked the end of a tragic chapter in the lives of those involved, offering some semblance of justice for John Maier and closure for his grieving loved ones.